Anything in particular that you were really proud of this game?
Proud of winning, proud of fighting our tails off in that first 30 minutes outside of, two balls going over the punter's head. I thought our defense was very stout. Became kind of, we made them become even more one-dimensional once we got up. The pick six with Cage getting up 14-0 early helps in any game, but it kind of takes away their ability to kind of keep the ball 50-50 run pass when all of a sudden you're up 2 touchdowns early. And we kind of got going in that second quarter a little bit, played complementary football, tackled people, turned them over, and we didn't turn ourselves over, which certainly helps. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you try to look at things holistically. The weather was awful, as you all know, but we fought through it in that first 30 minutes especially, and that was enough to be able to play it out for 60 minutes. And so it was not easy elements to play in, and I think we handled them well. Both teams played in it, and I was proud of our guys for coming out on top and playing energetic, and we tend to do that a little bit more on the red, and they did that today.
I can't imagine you can script a better first 3 or 4 minutes to have the kickoff return. How you talked earlier this week about the importance of special teams. How big was that return?
Well, it could have been bigger. I told Mike on the sideline the number 69 tackles. Yeah, it's never a good feeling when you're wearing number 13. There's got to be levity in the moment a little bit. When you're doing that, he's an explosive player. Didn't have his services late, which kind of reduced a little bit of our package. But it is fun when all of a sudden you come out, and we talked about it all week, trying to start with hopefully they either win the toss and defer, or we win the toss and we take the ball with a big return, and we did that. So we kind of spoke it into existence. Coach Roos has done a good job with that unit, and it helps when you have 13 back there, but those guys believe. We've had some big ones this year. We had one called back at Pocatello, so it's a little easier when the results are there to believe in it. I think our units on special teams played well, outside of obviously the 2 miscues in the punt department. The third safety was a called third safety. Didn't want to give the defense a short field to work with, so I want to kick the ball off and let them play long field. But outside of those 2, we had 2 field goals, covered kicks, I thought really well. And again, it's part of the game. A lot of the game is battling the elements, no matter what OD or special teams. And so I think we did that. I think home field advantage is a home field advantage. It should be that way. The game should be played outside, and it was today in bluster conditions, and we made the most of it.
And if the game flow had been different, would Jared Taylor have played more in that game, or was he not going to play today?
Well, with the new rules of the 4-game redshirt piece, those things come into mind. Believe it or not, we don't just draw plays up on the board all week long. We do think long-term at times. I know we're coaches. I know we're supposed to be in the minute, but live in the moment. But we do think long-term. We want to protect our guys as much as we can. So the ability to have him play in because he does have a red shirt, did play out, and that was a factor in the decision as to where we go and what we do, especially with multiple games left. So he's got a couple games left to be able to function in.
Is that someone like Derek Cantor Jr.? Is he somebody? I think he's played 3 now with 2 out. Do you make those decisions today, or how do you?
No, those are, if we made them today, I'm probably the wrong guy in the wrong seat. Those are things we talk about going. Health matters. Most guys we're going to plan on redshirting early. We commit to that throughout the course of the season unless something gets really off the tracks. Some of those guys we pulled the shirt off of early in Jira and Jane Radke, so we knew we were going to have their services for the year. But we're smart with that because we don't want to get to 5 or 4 games in one play, and that triggers a year of eligibility. So those are things we'll look at, talk about. But Derek Ganter is not playing like a freshman, that's for sure. I'm surprised he's not on the tackles list because I thought he was in on about 5 or 6, but maybe the windows were foggy, whoever the spotter was upstairs, because he was flying around and making plays. He's playing like a vet, and that's good for the team. When young guys step up, that's competition, and when competition's 18 years old, ears get perked up, and so that's a good thing for this team.
The combo of Tuna and Justice seemed to work about as well as it has all year. What can you say about just the way that those guys ran and the guys blocked in front of them?
Yeah, they run tough. I think it's a combination. The front doesn't make the back makes the front. It took me a few years as an offensive line coach to buy into that. And it took me a few bad offensive lines to realize that and appreciate that, and I mean that in all sincerity. It doesn't work the other way around. It's the guys behind you. You need some help with the guys up front, obviously with the O-line and the tight ends, with the quarterbacks. Quarterbacks do play in the run game, even though they may not be blocking somebody. There's eyes for that somebody when you do use a quarterback in the run game. So we stayed balanced enough. Those guys ran hard. Two guys obviously with 104 and 77. The first half was obviously the half we got the most of that yardage out of. But I was proud of those guys. Breaking tackles is the next step for all those guys. We're not going to be an 80-yard on the ground explosive run team. That's just not who we are. So make no mistakes about it. But we can be 20, we can be 25, we can be 28. But the next challenge of those guys is make the next guy miss at level 2 and level 3, because we do that, we can get to 40 and 50. But again, held on to the ball, didn't turn it over. Productive out of the backfield, catching balls too. I think Tuna had a couple, especially early, that really put us in a position to score. So both guys come to work every day, and it shows on Saturday.
And the last one for me is just I look at they ran 74 plays but only got 288 yards. They didn't seem to have a lot of big plays. What do you have to say about the defense?
Defense seemed like they're in position a lot and a ton of effort, and we challenged those guys. It was a character game. A character's not built in a day, but this is start of seeing who we are as our character continues to build. Anybody that scores one touchdown, we're always excited, no matter what the elements are, no matter who you're playing, giving up one touchdown. Defense gave up 7, special teams gave up 6 at the end of the day, and that's to be very proud of at the end of the day. And again, it's a weekly profession, right? All of a sudden, next week is different than last week, which is different than this week. But we looking at it, you talk about 74 plays for 288. You'll take that anytime, anywhere. The weather induced probably some of that. I'm okay with that. Again, like I said, it's fun to be at home. It's fun to play in the elements, and we challenged those guys, and they rose to the challenge today.